The West is home to some of the biggest sneaker brands in the world. In the US alone, you'll find the likes of Nike, Vans, Converse, and New Balance. And if you go over to Europe, you'll find the likes of Adidas, Puma, and also Reebok. But when talking about sneakers in the East, most people think about China's cheap shoe manufacturing industry and also their culture on making fakes. But if you go a little bit more east, you'll stumble upon a country which houses one of the biggest shoe manufacturing brands, which also created one of the most underrated sneaker classics in the game. The brand I'm talking about is the Japanese brand Asics, and the shoe I'm talking about is the Asics Gel-Lyte III. Before we dig into how the Gel-Lyte III came to be, we first have to talk about Asics as a whole. Due to the hard times the Japanese economy was experiencing during the 70s, many businesses fused together out of necessity to make sure they didn't go under, and that's exactly how Asics came to be. Three companies called Onitsuka Tiger, Gel-Ink, and GTO came together in 1977 to become the brand that we know today as Asics. Asics began selling different types of sports equipment, which also included running shoes. And while business was okay at the time, it wasn't until 1986 that Asics experienced their first big break with the introduction of the Asics Gel material. Asics Gel, or A-Gel as it was more commonly known as, was Asics' answer to Nike's Air unit. This kind of technology was incredibly impressive at the time, and the introduction of this technology did for Asics what the Ultra Boost technology did for Adidas. It changed the game for running shoes completely. The first shoe to implement the A-Gel technology was the Japanese exclusive Asics Freak, which released in 1986, and it sold tremendously well. It changed the standard for comfort when it came to running shoes. The following year, Asics would introduce the Gel-Lyte series with the Gel-Lyte I, and while we don't hear much about the Gel-Lyte I today, it's important to note that this shoe was revolutionary when it first came out due to how light it was. If you ask a runner which elements makes the perfect running shoe, the person will most likely say lightness and comfort, and the Gel-Lyte I had both those things. Weighing in at only 9.9 stones or 62 grams, and with the implementation of the A-Gel technology, made the Gel-Lyte I one of the best running shoes on the market. The following years we would see the release of the Gel-Lyte II, which didn't change up the shoe too much besides adding a molded heel counter to improve on the runner's performance. But it wasn't until 1990 that we saw the release of the soon-to-be Asics sneaker classic that was the Gel-Lyte III. Designed by Shigeyuki Mitsui, the Gel-Lyte III was a game changer for Asics, because not only was this the perfect shoe for the track, but it also became a popular shoe amongst the Japanese fashion crowd as well. With the introduction of the triple density sole and the repositioning of the A-Gel cushioning, this shoe showed the world what Asics were capable of. And the impressiveness of this shoe didn't just stop at the technical level. The reason why it was so popular with the fashion crowd was the overall small details that Mitsui did with the shoe, implementing stuff like the reflective back panels, collar blocking, and also the most noticeable feature, the implementation of the split tongue for a more comfortable and easy fit, really helped make this shoe popular. Unfortunately, due to Asics' approach to business, the Gel-Lyte III saw itself being replaced rather quickly by newer Asics releases like the Gel Saga and the Gel-Lyte V, and was more or less forgotten about for a time. That was until the early 2000s, where we saw the popularity of the shoe rise tremendously, especially in Europe, and it has since become a flagship shoe for Asics and definitely one of their all-time classics, which have seen releases in numerous colorways and also been part of amazing collaborations through the years. Now let's talk about the shoe itself, and oh boy do we have a lot to talk about. Now the Gel-Lyte III comes in a mixed synthetic leather, mesh and suede upper alongside an EVA midsole that utilizes the A-Gel technology. The overall design of the shoe is really just incredible. I mean, you get all these small details like the iconic Onitsuka stripes, the reflective panels on the back and front, a visible A-Gel unit on the back, and most notably the split tongue. Now, while this may seem like a small detail, it actually makes a big difference, not only for runners, but for ordinary people as well, because it made the shoe so much easier to get into. And if you know Gel-Lyte IIIs, you also know that they fit rather snug on the front foot area. So what you actually got was a shoe that almost felt as it was made to order. It felt as it was molded for you, and this is just the technical parts. One of the things that really made this shoe is the different colorways that this shoe has. Misui's decision to focus on overall color blocking has made the Gel-Lyte III into the sneaker with the best colorways, at least in my opinion. I mean, just look at some of these shoes, and as if the colors weren't enough, the unique collaborations that this shoe has been a part of are also looking amazing, like the FU X Beam, the Meta X Beam, the Atmos Soul Box, and so many more. If I had to point at one shoe which has the best collaborations that I've ever seen, it would be the Gel-Lyte III, hands down. And you know, if you're from Asics and you're watching this and you feel like sending me a unique Gel-Lyte III collab, you know, don't hold back. I mean, my business email is down in the description, so yeah, just hit me up, please. And now we're at my favorite part in the video where I get to give out my own opinion on these shoes, and I can say without a doubt that I love these shoes. And I think they're one of the most underrated classics out there. I mean, the comfort itself is enough reason to buy a pair, but when you look at the available colorways and also the collabs which are being done, not even to mention that the retail price for a pair of Gel-Lyte IIIs are more or less $100, it's almost criminal that this shoe isn't talked about more. At least in the US, because as someone who lives in Europe, I can tell that people really like this shoe over here, but I don't see American sneaker YouTubers talk about the Gel-Lyte III at all, which I think is a shame because this shoe is just a clear example of the impressive capabilities of Japanese shoe engineering. And I also don't think that despite Asics having numerous releases after the Gel-Lyte III, I don't think that they've released a shoe better than this one. And even though it came out almost 30 years ago, this shoe still holds the spot as one of the best sneaker classics out there, at least in my opinion. That's all I have for you guys. Please leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and also let me know what you think about the Gel-Lyte IIIs. I'm SneakerKlev, and I'll see you in the next video.